You know it's a lie, but the cold still crawls up your spine. So why can't you shake the feeling that something between you is fractured? A rumor about your closest friend reached you at a party last night. A careless line in a group chat, barely a sentence. You knew instantly it couldn't be true. The source was gossipy, and the story didn't match the person you love. Yet your body has already written its own verdict. The next time you saw them, your smile came a beat too late. Your shoulders tensed as if preparing for a confrontation that never happened. Your amygdala had fired a survival alarm your rational brain never authorized. Your friend sensed the shift, the sudden distance you couldn't explain. How do you override a threat response that was never supposed to be this quiet? You tell yourself nothing has changed. Yet your handshake is a fraction shorter. Your smile arrives a beat too late. Your eyes scan their face for a clue you cannot name. And they notice, not consciously. But somewhere beneath their own awareness, they feel the distance. Where does that distance come from? You have become a little colder without intending to. This is the silent architecture of a friendship beginning to crack. What caused the crack? The real damage is not the rumor. It is the mismatch inside your own head. Evolution wired you to survive in small tribes of maybe 100 people. In that ancient world, a single whisper could destroy your reputation. It could mean losing your place by the fire. It could mean exile. And exile was a death sentence. What does that ancient fear have to do with a modern rumor? Everything. So your brain built a hair trigger system for detecting threats to belonging. That system is still running inside your skull right now. It does not consult your conscious mind. It does not care whether a story is true or false. It only cares about one thing, the risk of losing a bond. And when it hears something risky, it seizes control before you can blink. What exactly happens in that blink? A neuroscientist named Joseph Ledoux spent decades studying how your brain detects danger. He traced the journey of a threat through the brain. The first stop is a tiny structure called the amygdala. It sits deep in your temporal lobe. What does the amygdala do? It acts as a sentinel. It scans every sensory signal for anything that might hurt you. How fast does it work? Terrifyingly fast. It can process a potential threat in under 100 milliseconds. That is quicker than your conscious thought can form. By the time you can say to yourself, this rumor is false, your amygdala has already sounded an alarm. It has assumed the rumor is real. It has already triggered a cascade of changes in your body. Cortisol, a stress hormone, floods your bloodstream. Your heart beats a little harder. Do you notice any of this? No. It happens beneath the threshold of awareness. But your body is now in a state of low-grade defense. And that state leaks out into your face, your voice, your posture. The next time you see your friend, your amygdala has already painted them as a possible threat. Can you reason with your amygdala? You cannot choose to undo that. You cannot reason your way out of it. Your body is already miles ahead of your mind. But the threat is not a predator or an enemy warrior. It is a rumor. So why does your amygdala treat words as a physical danger? Because to your ancient brain, social exclusion was a physical danger. A researcher named Naomi Eisenberger ran an experiment in 2003 that revealed a startling overlap. She asked people to play a virtual ball tossing game. Then she had the other players exclude them. The subjects' brains were scanned the whole time. What did the scans show? The same brain region that lights up when you stub your toe also lit up when you were excluded. That region is the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex, or DCC. It is a thick knot of neurons that registers physical pain. In that moment, your brain does not distinguish between a broken bone and a broken trust. It processes both as a wound. So when you hear a false rumor about a friend, what does your brain actually register? A tiny social injury. It prepares you for a hit to your belonging. Your body reacts to the story as if your safety depends on distancing yourself from that person. It does not matter that you know the story is false. The DCC and the amygdala are much older than your rational brain. They respond to symbols, to words, to whispers. They treat them like blades. Why is gossip so potent in the first place? An anthropologist named Robin Dunbar studied the role of gossip in primate societies. He found that gossip is not just idle talk. It is a form of social grooming. In monkey troops, physical grooming strengthens bonds and builds alliances. But as human groups grew larger, physical grooming could not scale. So what filled the gap? Language. Gossip became a way to track who is trustworthy and who is not. It is a radar system for mapping your social world. And what happens when false information hits that radar? Your brain treats all gossip as input for that radar. It cannot automatically filter out false information. A rumor, even a baseless one, still feeds into the same machinery. it still triggers the same calculations about your safety in the group. Was your brain designed for the internet age? No. It was designed for a campfire where words carried immediate consequences. And in that campfire, stories often contained a grain of truth about real threats. So your brain errs on the side of caution. It would rather you feel a bit of distance from a friend than risk missing a true betrayal. It is a survival bet that your body makes without your vote. Here is the cruel trick. While you wrestle silently with a rumor you know is false, your friend senses your withdrawal. How much does your friend actually notice? A researcher named Nalini Ambady found that people can judge trustworthiness from just a few seconds of silent video. Your body cannot hide the shift. Your microexpressions, your tone of voice, the length of your pauses betray you. Your friend's brain, just as ancient as yours, detects the coldness without knowing it. Their own amygdala stirs. They start to wonder if they have done something wrong. Or maybe they start to see you a little differently too. Without a single word spoken, a thread of doubt begins to weave itself between you. Can a rumor become true just because you believe it? This can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. A psychologist named Robert Rosenthal showed that when you expect something from a person, your subtle behaviors can actually draw it out of them. His classic experiment involved teachers and students. When teachers were told certain students were bloomers, those students actually performed better by the end of the year. The only difference was the teacher's unwitting warmth and attention. Now apply this to your friendship. Your body expects a betrayal from the rumor, even though your mind knows it is false. So you treat your friend with a fraction less warmth. That fraction is enough to change how they behave. They might become slightly more guarded. They might hold back a story or a laugh. And that slight shift in them feels, to your ancient brain, like confirmation. The rumor must have been true after all. So the distance grows. It grows without you ever discussing the rumor. It grows without you ever knowing that your own body was the instigator. What has changed in the modern world? Think about the world you live in right now. Rumors no longer travel by campfire. They travel in group chats, on social feeds, in comment sections. They arrive faster than your brain evolved to handle. You might see a screenshot someone sent about your best friend. You might read a thread that paints someone you love in a strange light. You might be told something for your own good. And every time your conscious mind has to play catch up with your primal fear center. Can your brain keep up with the flood of information? You can say this is probably fake all you want. Your body already made its calculation half a second after you saw the words. It has already initiated a subtle flight response. It has already loosened the tether by a single thread. This is the tragedy of being human in the 21st century. You carry a Stone Age security system inside a world of infinite whispers. And that security system does not know the difference between a credible threat and a piece of digital gossip. It treats them with the same grim seriousness. What does this mean for your friendships? Every false rumor you encounter about someone you care about leaves a tiny scar. Not on them, on you, on the bond. You never even felt the wound. So what can you do? The next time you hear a whisper about someone you trust, pause. Recognize what is happening inside your own body. A wave of ancient fears passing through you. It is a false alarm from an old security system. It does not need to be obeyed. Maybe you can override it. You can choose to reach out instead of pulling back. You can break the cycle before it starts. Because the lie is not the rumor. The lie is the feeling that distance is safer than trust. Will your body ever fully learn this? Your body may never forget its ancient wiring. But you can at least know the secret. You know it's a lie. Your body will still react. Your heart might still beat faster. Your smile might arrive late. But now you know why. And that knowledge is a thread of light. You hear a rumor about a friend. You know it's not true. But your body never forgets. Yet you can learn to hold the coldness at bay.
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel. There's much more to discover.